Hey everybody, it is Drek here in post-editing. Just wanted to let you know this is a special edition of the podcast. As you know, we are on a temporary hiatus, but Patrick from DDOCast came up with the great idea of having a crossover episode that I could release on our feed as well. So if you subscribe to the DDOCast feed, you can either skip this episode from us, or you can skip the DDOCast episode. However you want to do it, because it's the same show. We just combined the two shows into one, recorded them together, and we're going to release them on our feeds, both feeds. So once again, if you've listened to the DDOcast episode, you can skip this episode because it is the same show. As far as a hiatus, I'm expecting it to be probably 2 or 3 weeks maybe. I am in the process of moving, as the post had said. I did actually find a place to go, so I am going to be moving this weekend, and then luckily the same provider that I use now where I'm at also services where I'm going to move to, so I can just swap my service over. So hopefully it won't take too long to get internet and everything hooked back up, and we'll be back up and running just in time for Gen Con. So enjoy the crossover DDOcast and DDO Players News episode.
Hello and welcome to DDOcast episode 523 and special news fun thing we're doing today, DDO Players News 183, recorded live on Sunday, June 24th. I'm here with Draculetta.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Thanks for having me, Patrick, and thanks for doing a dual broadcast here.
Yeah, so we're doing a funny thing this week. DDO Players News is on a little bit of a hiatus because you're moving.
I am moving. I am in the process of moving. I am surrounded by boxes as we speak.
Is your computer on boxes?
Actually, no. I was going to tear it down today, and I thought, I have to wait. I have something to do tonight. So I haven't touched the computers yet.
I was in a similar situation a couple years back where I moved, and things went completely haywire with that move, so I was really behind where I wanted to be. And Jerry and the Damsels were kind enough to host for me for a couple weeks, but then I did like 2 or 3 weeks of the show with my computer on a dresser.
Okay, now that's awesome.
Desk. It wasn't awesome. It was really awkward because I had nowhere to put my feet.
Awkward. There's that.
But so we're doing a joint kind of broadcast thing here for both audiences, for DDOcast and DDO Players News. So if you listen to them both, hey, bonus for you, you only have to listen to it once.
That's true. Pick which feed you want to get it from.
Yeah, right? It's totally going to shoehorn our numbers in the wrong direction, but that's okay. Also with us this week, we have Arcot coming back with us.
Yes. Hey, Patrick, thanks for having me. And hey, I guess I'm getting to be a guest on DDO Players News as well.
Yes, I've been meaning to get you on anyway. So see, it was 2 birds with 1 stone. There you go.
It was meant to be.
Yeah. So let's start off with this week's screenshot. Daylight finds spiders in dark places in the 371st screenshot of the week. Thank you, Claver, for sending in the screenshot. And Arcot said he knows exactly where this is.
That is from the dungeon Strike Back in the Mines of Tethymar. And you know what? It's on a lower difficulty setting because on the elite settings, these spiders can be phase spiders, and that spider I don't think is a phase spider.
No, that's definitely not a phase spider.
As
I
many...
There's a difference in an elite and normal in that regard.
As many times as I've ran that quest, I have never seen that spider.
There are spiders there, though. We like to talk about Dungeons & Dragons online nearly every weekend. You can watch us on DDOcast through Twitch, YouTube, the DDO forums, iTunes, or from our website at DDOcast.com. DDOcast is hosted by Cyber the awesome podcast hosting network, and shows are usually available within a few days of recording. The next show will probably be next weekend, and you can set everybody following us on our social media pages or our website, DDOcast.com, with our calendar. Drac, where can people find DDO Players News?
At DDO Players News, or DDOplayers.com, sorry, and on Twitter at DDO Players.
Yeah. And let's see, on the podcast this week, so DDOcast has been doing this thing where we've been doing kind of recording the show at two different times and having a topical discussion and the news discussion. There's so much news this week that, and just scheduling from a personal standpoint, this is going to be it. We're going to do the whole shebang here because there's a lot of news about Update 39. We get a lot of stuff to talk about with that. The Update 39 preview was delayed a little bit because if they were to open it at the scheduled time, no player would be able to patch it up properly. And in fact, people had to, in order to download Lammania this week, you had to download the client again. You had to do a fresh download.
Yeah, you uninstall the old one and then install the new one fresh.
Yes. And did they say what exactly?
No.
Why exactly? It was just, yeah. But it's not a terrible process. And people did it because I know people were on Lammania. So, but this is not something that's normal. It happens occasionally. It's every couple of years it seems like that has to happen. I know it's happened before, but it's been a while. So, in any case, there was also a question real quick before we get into the release notes and stuff. Some people were asking, "Hey, I can't transfer my certain character to Lammania," and it turns out that those characters are guild leaders. Guild leaders are not transferable. You can't transfer from one server to another, and because the character transfer tool is used to copy characters to Lammania, you can't do that if you're a guild leader. And the main reason for that is they don't want to break guilds. So, because it would be really lousy if you moved if you copy your character to Lammania and then your guild just kind of went sideways. That would be a major problem and a headache for everyone. To get around that, you can give one of your other characters the crown for 5 minutes and go and transfer your character and kind of work around it that way. So with that, let's talk about Update 39 Preview 1. It will this does not include the 5 new dungeons expected to go live with Update 39, and there will be at least one more preview. But we have a bunch of stuff to talk about. And we're going to skip the first half of it and jump into just like the release notes, then we'll come back and talk about the 5 or 6 other things with this that we have to talk about as well. So, feats, Trip, Stunning Blow, and Improved Trip now display their current calculated DCs on their tooltip.
It's about damn time.
Yay!
Jeez.
Right? Can we get Implosion next, maybe? And all the other ones that currently doesn't happen for. Let's see, in the Artificer, Renegade, Mastermaker, Paragon bodies should now reduce Spell Fader properly on Warforged characters, and the Arcana Technician 5th core ability now properly requires 18 Artificer levels. Oops. For Radiant Servant, Altruism now provides plus 10 positive spell power, and Counterattack and Stalwart Defender no longer erroneously requires character level 12. The Epic Destiny Legendary Dreadnought Pulverizer tooltip no longer erroneously claims it does not affect hand wraps. Yay, it affects hand wraps now. That's fun. Note to self: check to see if I have that on my monk.
Oh yeah, I've got that on Arcat, so for sure.
And that was a change they made when they changed how hand wraps work.
Yes.
If I'm mistaken. The energy sheath icon on the buff bar has been changed so you can more easily determine which element you are protected from. Which I think I didn't realize that was that big of a problem.
I didn't know it was a problem either. I can tell.
It seemed pretty. I mean, it was colored.
Yeah.
Although I will say, if you have colorblind problems, that would be a problem there. See, The
Good point.
tooltip of Heal Mass has been fixed to say its accurate max caster level 25. You can now teleport to the lower necropolis, which is kind of fun. So you need to teleport, the base teleport, not greater teleport. The base teleports spells, you can now go there. That's kind of fun. And the haste action boost now gives advertised values of attack speed for ranged characters. Which I'm curious, is that more or
What
less?
was it giving before?
Yeah, right? Is it more or less? I don't actually
No
know.
idea.
Let's see. Update 38 had a couple of stuff. They fixed enemies no longer dropping empty treasure bags. They fixed an issue where the Night Manager would sometimes close the gate instead of opening it. Would be kind of problematic. They kind of fixed some stuff with False Rocket, Age of Rage, and a couple other things. Some older quests that they did some work on that we should be seeing coming live. Flagging for Ascension Chamber, which they changed recently, so you just have to do it once. Thank you again. If you reincarnate and are holding a completed sigil, and you broke it, it should no longer be a problem. And when this goes live, you should be able to progress normally, even with the one that is so-called broke. So, should fix that. The Haunted Halls of Eating Star, the Doppelganger puzzle, now waits for the player to use the first door in the dungeon to set itself up. That should limit the possibility of the doppelganger failing to spawn. Yay.
I don't get why they can't fix that. They have to get some cutesy, end around, way to make it better. I don't know why they can't just fix it.
I assume it has something to do with its special nature of an encounter. I don't know.
It must. It must.
The Blacklock has had a total visual revamp of Blacklock with the aim of improving performance and aesthetics. Yesterday Hill also had some work done to reduce performance issues. The Oath of Vengeance Harpies at the top of the tower should now more reliably fly down to attack targets. I don't know. I kind of like that they...
Yeah, me too.
Bring a ranged character with you.
Yeah, right?
Sure.
I mean, that's...
Why was that an issue?
Everything doesn't have to be in range with melee.
Exactly.
I'm a DM. This is not a... If your party is not smart enough to bring a ranged weapon, then that is not my problem. Let's see. They fixed some stuff in Battle of Evening Star and Portal Opens, and Wayloon, and Stormhorn's drop rates of venison from deer and foxtails from foxes have been significantly increased.
Really? Does anybody really care? I mean, is that a big
less.
deal?
I mean, well, there is an encounter, right? That is
There's a rare.
that, right?
Yep.
I don't know. It is now easier to see through the foggy areas in breaking the ranks, what goes up, and a break in the ice. Let's see. They've made the secret door on Study and Sable easier to find. Enemy within should now accurately specify the objectives panel what you're required to slay, as opposed to blank. Just kill everything.
Yes.
And the Chamber of Ramat, the location of 2 collectible nodes has been altered. Yay.
Boy.
Yeah.
Good thing.
Carrying on. Items. The following items no longer... so they said this, and then they kind of came back to it. So the problem with these items is that they're meant to grant only one of Double Strike or Double Shot, and we're erroneously granting both.
Yes.
So those items are the mythic, oddly only the mythic, Muffled Veneer, Dynamistic Quiver. Hey, did you ever find one of those, Drac?
Yes, finally.
Did you find the second one you were looking for?
Nope. Only one.
The Fellblade, Coffin Nail, the Epic Quiver of Alacrity, Trapsmith Crossbow, and First Blood. They adjusted the icons and tooltips text for the Ravenloft set bonuses. Van Richten's Cane. This is a buckler that looks like a cane. It's actually really cool. No longer honestly causes spell failure, because it's a buckler. It's not supposed to have spell failure. It's neat that they fixed this one, but have they actually fixed the one from the Hound and Tempest Spine? I don't think they have.
No idea.
Let's see. Almond-coated Shadow Apples and Dark Swirl Caramel Bites now grant festive bonuses, as described. Let's see. Alchemical Intimidate Potions now grant a listed bonus. Deconstructor, the Augment, no longer erroneously states its min level 26.
So what is its min level then?
I don't know. It'd be nice, it would be kind of nice. Hey, Jerry, if you're listening, you say it's no longer erroneously states as minimum level 26. Maybe tell us what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Let's see. Plate Mill Strahd should now work with Dragonborn. Slave Lords now crafting now displays the appropriate amount of quality attributes in the vendor. Apparently it's +5 and not +4 for legendary. Cool.
For what shoot. What was the bonus?
I thought it was +4 because that's what it lists everywhere, but apparently it's supposed to be +5.
No, the type of bonus.
It's stats.
Right. But as opposed to enhancement and
it's a quality.
Exceptional quality.
Yeah.
I never knew it was +5 quality as well. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, which is higher than anywhere else in the game.
Yeah, that's right. It is.
The text of Cowardly Sentient Jewel now matches the voice recording. The power set now grants the intended +75 melee power instead of the +100 left over from an earlier preview. Let's see. Daily Dice, Titan's Grip, and Alchemical Intimidate potions now drop in stacks of 3. Bigby hands no longer appear in Tier 8 of the Gold Daily Dice table.
Well, that's good.
I mean, if it shows up with other stuff as well, that's not too bad. But yeah, if that's all you're getting. Congratulations, you rolled a 99 on the gold table. Here's some Bigby's hands.
Yeah. Wah, wah.
My parents went to Atlantic City. All I got was this crappy T-shirt.
Yeah. Let's see. A few cosmetics were appearing in both Tier 7 and Tier 8 of the Gold Daily Dice tables. That's been fixed. And 3 brand new cosmetics have been added to the Gold Daily Dice tables. There you go. Let's see. A couple other things to clean up. The effect Epic Ward no longer displays the same examination icon and visual graphic as Death Ward to avoid confusion. Hey, that's neat. I'm going to skip that one for now. We'll come back to that. The NPC dialog box is no longer locked to the middle of the screen. It should instead open in the location screen it was last closed on.
That's good.
So you can move it around if you don't want to know the screen.
Yeah.
See, they fixed the typo in Monsters dialogue. Mephits no longer continue to make a wing flapping nose after they are dead.
Yeah, that always annoyed me.
A bunch of miscellaneous work has been done on Griffin monsters. Perhaps my favorite note of all, though. Reapers no longer erroneously slow melee attack speed. Hallelujah. Thank you. It's always been a problem. I mean, you're talking about melee and being balanced and stuff. Melee are always reducing their attack
Melees
speed.
always get the shaft.
Yeah, right. But here's kind of more, probably what I think a lot of people consider more controversial. The rest and resurrection shrines can no longer be stood on top of.
Oh my God! Really? Is that a big deal?
It will be for some people, yes. I don't know why it should be, but
well, Coalescence Chamber is really the only place that I can think of where it's a possible issue. You drop down onto that one shrine, and then the bats spawn the first time you go there. So you have an archer that could sit up there on top of the either the rest one or the res shrine and perch and basically shoot all the bats. So that, I mean, really, was that a big deal?
I think in general it's more of a perching problem in the sense that they looked at it and said, oh, this is a pretty quick thing to do. This will solve some perching stuff, which admittedly can be kind of cheesy at times, right?
Sure.
So
perching is definitely a problem, but that's the only place where I can think of, that
there's others out there.
Okay. All right. Then fine.
I can't remember a lot of any other ones on top of my head, but I have known a fair few players to jump on top of shrines and other high places that inexplicably are safe from whatever it is you're fighting. So, yeah. All right, let's get into some of the more fun stuff. Crystal Cove is having its loot revamped. This is fun. I'm not going to go through and list everything here. The way this is working, the next time it goes live, there will be a new loot available to be crafted. So basically what they're doing is they're taking the effects that are on the items and they're bringing them in line with the new kind of scaling random loot values. Mm-hmm. However, with that, some of them are getting changed a little bit. just to start off by saying the hat crafting and consumables are not being changed. I was going to say the same. Also, the old vendor will still be available, so you can still get the old versions of the items. That will still be a thing, and that'll become more important later when we kind of catch up on some of the other stuff that are in this. Also, you will be able to upgrade the old versions of the items to the new versions if you choose to do so. So that's pretty cool. A lot of nice quality of life stuff involved with that. All right. With some of the stuff, basically, Linabelle gave some kind of an idea of why they're doing this. Old versions of Crystal Cove items had their values chosen somewhat arbitrarily when the level cap increased in order to match gear standards at the time. They have a new scaling system. They balance that with other stuff. And those new values are pretty much blowing away the old gear standards. So, and quite a few of those showed up in Crystal Cove, so they wanted to kind of beef up Crystal Cove. So in the new era of item design, they'd rather have fewer, stronger enhancements than a large stable of non-stacking ones that players will overlap pointlessly. Paring down the enhancements on Crystal Cove to their most prominent is a messy job, and sometimes she makes mistakes like the Spyglass, which a lot of people didn't like kind of the new design of that. She also kind of explained a little bit in this kind of thread that they sort of have a 4-slot limit for items. It's not a technical limitation; it's a design choice. They didn't want to bend the rules in this way because everyone will ask why the current trap-focused items aren't just 2 effects long. It kind of leads to an arms race and stuff like that. There are a few items that do not follow that, but in general, they're making a choice to keep items to a 4-slot limit, so 4 effects at most. That kind of goes where she kind of ended on some of that. They did some behind-the-scenes cleaning and stuff and tried to figure it out. Some people, though, didn't like the new Spyglass. That was kind of the one I noticed that people really didn't like being changed. But again, you can still get the old item. You do not have to change to the new item. The old one is still there if you choose to use that one instead. They updated all the gear, though, to have new versions if you choose to play with them. So, either of you guys get a chance to look at the fun stuff there?
Oh, yeah.
You want to share your thoughts on it?
You sure you want me to share my thoughts on that? I just, Linabelle's young. She needs to learn a little bit more about how to answer some of these questions. One of the things that she made a mistake in saying is that she didn't understand how the Spyglass worked or why people liked it because she never used it. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm assuming one of her jobs now is to be the new loot dev. If that's your job, is to be the loot dev, you need to understand, what these pieces of loot do and what they're for and why people like them. So she's got to be a little bit more discreet in the kinds of things she says. Now, having said that, she has been fairly open to suggestions about how to maybe make some changes to the Spyglass that might be a little more acceptable to folks. So I will definitely give her props for that.
And the thing that I think a lot of people kind of kept forgetting is they're not kind of picking up on the old Spyglass still exists. You can still even get it. It's not going away.
Which I am actually surprised they chose to do that, to be honest. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's good they did. I like they did, but that just seems like a weird design choice on them because usually they do not do that. So I wonder what made them decide to go that route this time.
Well, it's a good choice, probably. I think they were okay with doing it because in their mind that all of the items, the older versions aren't up to snuff. They are on par with a lot of the stuff that you can get. The Spyglass may be kind of the exception to that ideal. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's always better to have better loot, right? So
sure.
But I think it's. I appreciate that they are making it so that you can upgrade, you can change your loot to the new loot. Mm-hmm. which is great. We'll talk about this with Fiona Carnival in a second here, but we talk about Crystal Cove. Some people put a lot of work into these items to get them, and so not having to put a ton of work in again to get to where you want to get that new item, I think is really, really nice on their part. Also, one thing I do want to mention before we go, the tier system is actually going away, I believe.
Yay.
So instead of, you get an item and you have to upgrade to tier 2 and tier 3, it's just the item at varying levels. So you don't have to do the tier thing anymore, which, if they don't change the prices, would mean that it would cost less to get it, which is kind of nice. So if you've been looking at some items there that you want to get and you just can't get them because you can't bring yourself to get all the way to tier 3, it might be less expensive this year. Now, again, this is only the items. This doesn't count for the rum or the trinkets and some of the other stuff. It's just the named items. All right, House Fairyland Carnival had a loot revamp. The quest pack they looked at the loot. The revamp in the same vein as recent Red Fence loot revamp. Brings all the items into the modern standard of scaling effects. It impacts all future loot drop from the quest, but will not alter any items that players have already pulled. That's completely in line with how they normally do. That they've done stuff with all these loot revamps in the past. Obvious exception to the Crystal Cove, which we were just talking about. Some items don't appear on their list because they're not receiving a revamped version because they didn't need one. I looked through it just like I did the Crystal Cove one, and the stuff all kind of seemed in line with what's out there in the random loot gen world. So, you guys have any thoughts on that one?
No.
Yeah, nothing really too crazy.
Yeah, I gotta say there was nothing that jumped out at me that they're really changing. I mean, and to me, the Fairyland Carnival loot was never the greatest anyway.
Yeah.
I mean,
the axe is kind of nice.
Yeah.
The axe is nice. Kronzek's Cruelty is kind of nice, but other than that.
The axe would be nicer if the seal would actually drop for me so I could make an epic one, but at this point, it's old enough that it's probably not even worth it to get
right.
anyways. All right, update 39 loot. We got to look at the loot here. A couple of things to kind of point out. There are some new sentient jewels that have a chance to drop in the chest with update 39 quest. The exact distribution is still determined, but likely only end chest to match typical named loot. Like all previous sentient gems, each of these new personality with a full suite of fully voiced lines with no mechanical differences to other jewels. If you find that you like one of the flavor personalities of these jewels better than one you already have and have spent time leveling up, remember, you can just feed a jewel to a new jewel and it transfers all the XP, which is a fantastic mechanic for this reason specifically. These sentient jewels are not available. Were not available for the preview 1 because the voice recordings weren't completed yet, but they listed them to kind of head off the questions about whether they will exist. So the 3 here are the sentient jewel of Black Razor, a personality with insatiable hunger for souls. Sentient Jewel of Wave, a personality with a love of sailing in the sea. Sentient Jewel of Whelm, a dwarf personality with a long-standing grudge against giants. And by golly, if that one doesn't say something special when you hit it with a giant, then I'm going to be really disappointed.
Yeah, you'd figure.
So, I don't know if it will, but there you go. So there you go. And those are all kind of, I believe those are all kind of tied in with White Plume Mountain.
Oh, yes.
Which I am completely unfamiliar with. So, the other thing that they kind of mentioned, there is a Sentient Filigree set, which quickly mentioned. The Frozen Wanderer Filigree set, 4 pieces, does some cold type stuff. The tier 4, you can get 50 spell power for cold, and your range and melee attacks get 46 plus 1d6 per epic character level in cold damage. That's pretty neat. But that effect does not stack with other sentient weapon procs. Interesting. Kind of wonder if that text is going to crop up in all the other damage sentient weapons. Why is that important, you might ask? This is fun. The Sentient Spark. The following is a special named item that can be obtained in Update 39, which can be consumed by a sentient weapon. When a sentient weapon consumes this spark, its maximum number of attainable filigree slots increases by 1, which gives you an 8th slot. Yeehaw. You still have to unlock it by feeding the weapon more named loot.
Oh, yeah, that's going straight to my Necromancer.
Yeah, Yeah, more XP for your sentient weapons. And then there's a whole list of the new quest named loot that I'm not going to go through specifically, but I will open it up if you guys there was something that you saw that really kind of stuck out to you.
As far as the
named
new
items.
13. Oh yeah, well there's plenty, but I've spoken a lot, so let Draculetta go first.
Well, I like that. I know, Patrick, you're not really familiar with White Plume Mountain at all, but the whole point of White Plume Mountain is you're hired to go into White Plume Mountain to get these sentient weapons back. And some 3 of the loot that you can get out of these are like an homage to those legendary sentient weapons, like that Echo of Black Razor, the Echo of Wave, and the Echo of Whelm, because those are the 3 items that you're trying to get. I think that's a nice little nod they did because, of course, they don't want everybody running around with the legendary sentient weapon. So this is the way to do it. So that's nice.
Yeah. So just to build on top of the three weapons, the visuals of the weapons are well, especially for Wave and Whelm, the visuals. I went on to the Lammania and posted some screenshots of them, and they're pretty much spot on. But I did have a problem with Echo of Black Razor. I think the art department needs to work on that a little more. The blade needs to be blacker, like the blackest of black, like space really. And the little stars and stuff in the blade need to really look more like stars and less like little Lucky Charms kind of thing. So yeah, so the visuals definitely have a real potential there. I thought for the most part they did pretty well on those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of kind of fun things that pop out. I think there's a really nice melee goggle set. Or not set, but a really nice melee pair of goggles that really popped out to me. There's a couple, weapons in the high level range, which are pretty nice. There's a club that's hollowed plus 19.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Plus 19 enhancement bonus to the maximum hit dice of an undead turn. So the turning clerics look to be again, look to be viable, at least more than they used to be.
That's a big jump, isn't it? I mean,
it is. It goes from plus 5 to 19, so that's a huge jump.
That's a lot. There's items at level 29, 25, 23, and 21. The 25 stuff is all kind of armor. 23 is mostly helm. I think it's all helms, actually, which is kind of nice. And there's some level 21 stuff, a couple different, a lot of kind of newer ideas. There's an epic, there's a level 6 and level 21 version of it, but there's a great club that's like the new Muck's Devastation.
Yep.
So that's kind of fun. It gives you a little bit something better. I think it's actually better than Muck Doom, and it's like roughly the same level as well. So I love that the heroic version, but the epic version looks pretty nice. There's a lot of fun stuff in here. There's
a really cool effect that it's on a few items. It's called Transmuted Platinum. It says so when the weapon hits something, there's a chance that it'll turn whatever it hits into transmuted platinum, which basically preventing all movement. So that sounds like a really cool effect, almost like Tomb of Jade or Jade Strike.
Sure.
I'm looking forward to seeing how the art department makes the monsters or whatever it is you're hitting, how it looks like platinum. That should be neat.
Yeah, there's also one item I really want to mention too. There's a level 6 or 21 version of the key lock ring. So search, spot, open lock, disable device, all in the same item. Plus 8 at level 6 and plus 18 at level 21. So that's kind of nice.
I'm seeing the longbows are going to be the new quiver for me.
Yeah, it's simply possible.
Yeah, because we all know my RNG luck, but those longbows are really nice. Both of them are.
I mean, look at the bright side, right? You can get a sentient jewel, and all the stuff that you get that you don't want, you can just feed to that.
Hey, see, there you go.
Yeah, a little glass half full there. Is platinum a soft metal? I'm not really sure, actually.
It's a bit harder than gold.
Yeah, let's say it's harder than gold, I would think.
Yeah.
A little more precious than that. All right, let's move on to the next thing to talk about. The War Soul and War Priest Enhancement Revamp. There's a lot of news this week. It's great. It's fantastic. All right, so the cores for Cleric and Favored Soul versions. Smite Foe became a multi-selector with melee and ranged versions. The Smite Foe's cooldown was reduced to 12 seconds, and the Implacable Foe's cooldown was reduced to 3 minutes. They changed in Tier 2. Inflame is no longer an action boost. It no longer has charges. It now has a 90-second cooldown. And the saving throws was rolled into Greater Inflame, which also now has the energy absorption. Or sorry, the energy absorption now Greater Inflame, which has the energy absorption and saving throws. Magical Backlash was moved to Tier 3. Burden of Sin is gone. It was replaced with Radiant Flourish, a melee or ranged attack that adds light damage that scales with melee or ranged power, depending on which one you pick. They got rid of Light Guard, and they replaced it with Double Strike or Double Shot, your choice. They also have Silence the Wicked, which is another ability that's melee or ranged, and makes it so your enemies can't cast spells for 4 seconds. I always love those abilities. You want to get that pesky self-healing thing in the back that you can't do enough damage because it keeps healing itself? This is what those are great for. Wrathful Weapons, the light damage is now 10d6 light damage that lasts for 12 seconds. And Divine Power is now plus 6 sacred bonus to strength plus the base attack bonus it already gives. So that's kind of nice. And then they made a couple of little tweaks between the two. So for the Cleric version, that's the War Priest one, Implacable Foe is now multi-selector that does plus 2 strength and constitution or constitution and wisdom. They have an action boost that's melee and ranged power. And then in Tier 5, there's a new ability that's while wearing heavy armor, you get some PRR, MRR, AC, and a threat generation. For the Favored Soul, Implacable Foe is now a selector for either plus 4 strength, wisdom, or charisma. Their action boost is a haste action boost. And in Tier 5, they get Divine Champion, which is while wearing medium armor, you gain plus 5% double strike, double shot, and a plus 5 to confirm critical hits and critical hit multipliers. Their version of Divine Power remains 2 action points, but it also now grants a plus 1 competence bonus to critical multipliers. So there you go.
Yeah, you know what? They hosed Warforged and Bladeforged because they can't wear medium armor. So I really wish these guys would remember that Bladeforged and Warforged can't do everything that everybody else can do.
I thought I saw something that they accounted for that, but I didn't grab it. Might have to look back. I thought I saw something that said that they had considered it, but that might be something else. If not, I'm sure there'll be some people that'll kind of mention it and get in there. They also have this ability, Divine Vessel, that has a number of issues at the moment. It's largely uncontrollable, it's somewhat unreliable, it's centered on you, which is not great for the newly ranged skills on the tree. So they're tentatively replacing it with something in both trees, which is a multi-selector melee or ranged. Your attacks generate a stack of Divine Conduit. When Divine Conduit reaches 25, all stacks are cleared and you gain 1 use of this attack. Which is an attack at plus 5 weapon damage. Affected enemies are hit by a meteor. Lots of fun stuff. And it shares a cooldown with a Great Cleave. There you go. Go ahead.
Yeah, for the favorites for the War Soul, the Divine Power, not only does it get the plus 6 bonus to strength, but it also gives you plus 1 competence bonus to critical multiplier with the weapon. So that
that's
helps.
the Favored Soul version.
That's right.
Yeah.
That helps out so the melee Favored Souls, that really helps them out quite a bit. So you're looking at a potential plus 10 more strength because of the Implacable Foe multi-selector, and the divine power +6 strength. So there's +10 right there. So you get that, and you get the critical multiplier +1. I think that really helps out the melee favorite souls quite a bit.
On Divine Vessel, so here's a little more information on this. The melee version of this is a cleave. The ranged version is a single target, but they're kind of assuming that people will have improved precise shot, which will allow it to hit several enemies. It'll be 2 action points, but only 1 rank. It kind of reuses some of the stacking and meteor stuff. Every affected enemy gets hit with their own meteor. They're keeping an eye on performance here, so no promises that it will survive, but it looks awesome. There you go. Conversely, using this ability requires you to use your DD's favored weapon. That requirement is also being added to some of the other stuff. With enhanced bonus, you are getting +1 to hit and damage per tier. And he did kind of talk a little bit about the favored weapon in the current system of DDs must be tied to race. Sorry. They feel similarly frustrated at how that affects certain game systems, but without a complete overhaul of DDs, divines, and favored weapons, that restriction can't be changed at this time. Bummer. So there you go. Some fun stuff in that one. You guys want to mention anything else about the war trees? All right, moving right along then. The Angel of Vengeance also is getting a revamp. So the event for the cores, Vengeful Magic's effects now trigger at 80, 60, or 40%. It also grants a passive +20 light and alignment spell power. The Archon Light spell now benefits from 100% of your spell power and spell critical instead of 50%. Yay.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. Ascendancy's mini version based on DDO are gone. In their place, you can get +2 to all skills, +20 to universal spell power, and a Searing Light SLA that costs 0 spell points, and you get to pick +4 wisdom or +4 charisma. Let's see, in Tier 1, they get a new SLA, Nimbus of Light. Animus and Scourge were combined into one ability with both sets of effects. At Tier 2, they took out Just Rewards, and taking the first rank of Articles of Faith now also grants Just Rewards former bonuses. Tier 3, you get Sunbolt SLA.
Yeah, there you go. Love that. I love Sunbolt.
That is pretty awesome.
Isn't that like a level 8 spell? Or is it Sunbolt the one is it just Lightning Bolt but a light spell? Can't remember how they classify this one. I don't know, you get into level 3, so yeehaw. 1 in Scroll Mastery, they move from Tier 3 down to Tier 2. That's good. I don't know why it was Tier 3. That's really high. Tier 5, you can get a new Comet Fall spell-like ability.
That's awesome, too.
Yeah, the spell point cost is still, it's pretty high for SLA. Tier 3, it's 25 spell points. But remember, you get free meta magics on it, so sure. That's fun. Also, this is a little interesting. Archon's Fury requires summon Archon. While this is toggled on, your Lantern Archon will add a stack of Archon's Fury every shot. And that is 1d6 fire damage every 2 seconds for 10 seconds, and it stacks up 20 times. And it scales with 100% of spell power. However, when it's toggled on, every shot from your Archon costs 12 spell points. Also, the DC spell boost in Tier 5 is no longer connected to this mighty line, which probably makes a lot of sense. I'm not sure why it would be linked, but there you go. Yeah, the Archon stack thing, that seems kind of fun. It's like a Fire and Forget stacking damage boost like that. 12 spell points a shot.
Yeah, that's a little expensive, but it's going to be on a favored soul, so they have a ton of hit points anyway, or rather spell points anyway. So
to put it in a little bit of perspective, if you think about Niox and what's the electric one? Eldar's electric, the cold and electric dots. They cost more spell points than that, and they only and this you get. I'm not sure exactly how metamatics are going to work with this. If you can use Maximize and Empower with this, but if you can, that's going to be for free. So, yeah.
Yeah, but the Archon will fire that on more consistently. I guess normally because it's going to be doing it automatically. So and I have a feeling that that you will notice that spell point cost.
I think you will too. But you can turn it on and off, so that's good.
Sure.
But a lot of fun stuff there. Let's see. DDO bonus days, you can get 30% Guild XP through the time of this recording, June 24th. If you're getting this on the published shows, it's probably too late. Let's see, store news. You can get 25% off of a bunch of, it's a store more loot sale, so character banks, shared banks, deposit box, platinum storage, inventory space, and gem ingredient and augment bags. Just FYI though, those bags are bound to character, not bound to account. So
yeah, be careful. Yeah.
I mean, it's better than when they were doing the 50% off, or the buy one get one
free
for bound to character bags.
You know, they did that. I can see them doing it the first time, you know, not realizing.
Yeah,
but they did it again.
Yeah.
God.
Oops. They did change that one to be 50% off of those things, so at least they did. They picked up on that pretty quick. But yeah, that was an oopsie. Also, through Sunday, June 24th. So if you're listening to this live, you can get it. If not, apologies. But 20 plus 20 Hearts of Woods are available for a limited time. And as typical with that, they give you plus 5 Heart of Wood with your purchase. If you're wondering, the reason why they do that is because of the 3-level, the 3 classes restriction. So you're supposed to use the plus 5 first to eliminate one class. And then you can use the plus 20 to be whatever class you want. That's kind of the goal. That's why they do that. So if you're an 866 build, tough luck. Sorry. Get a plus 1.
Wah.
You know, it's hard to get everyone in that. The weekly coupon, Bell of Opening, with coupon code OPENIT through June 28th, which is when the rest of those sales go as well. All right, that's game news. Let's talk about community news, shall we?
Sure.
The 288th Chronicle this week. Triggs is having weekly discussions, so he picks a topic, he puts it on there, and people answer the question. This week, the topic is, what is your favorite race and why? It's clearly supposed to be Warforged. That's the correct answer.
Warforged used to be my favorite.
Oh, yeah? What's your favorite now?
The ASMR.
Yeah, it's a good choice. It's a pretty popular one.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, my monk, who's on my DDO Black character, is loving being an ASMR.
Yes.
Those healing hands on a monk are fantastic.
Yes, they are.
He's still a glass cannon, but at least he has self-healing now. Drac, what's your favorite race?
You know, it used to be the Drow, but I really do enjoy the ASMR.
3 for 3.
Yep.
There you go.
3 for 3. What? I'm still picking Warforged, man. Still planting my flag.
Well, yeah, but you still like the ASMR though, so it counts.
I do like the ASMR. And in full disclosure, my tank is going to become an ASMR who is going to become a Warforged. So, let's see. The comment for the week. Why are Enraged Bears in the Age of Rage angry with you?
Because you stole their honey.
I would say stole their cubs, but...
I came up with a really, really geeky answer here.
Oh boy.
Because I converted the 100-acre wood to the 40.468564224 hectare wood.
Wow, that's pretty geeky.
That is geeky. That's like uber geeky, but amazing nonetheless.
The guild for the week, the Unrepentant on Solana, is a casual adult-only guild that is also part of a gaming community, playing a range of MMOs and other games, including Lotro and, of course, DDO. You can contact Mariak for more information if you'd like to join them. Fansite news. Here we go. Big deep breath. DDOCast got a shout-out for 522, where we finished our Leveling 30-plus guide. Axel had a video discussing the new favorite soul tree. The Damsels of DDO had their new podcast up. They should have the next one up pretty soon because they recorded that this weekend. See, you got a DDO Players News, got a shout-out for Gen Con. And Tone Station went on some epic adventures on Glanda. Shoemaker took us through another episode of DDO Wiki Talk. make vegan pants. Had some throwing heroics as they ran Harbinger of Madness chain. That's actually a fun chain that a lot of people don't tend to run very much. Tremor of Delirium is a beast of a quest too. Streaming with Even runs Death House and Fresh Baked Dreams on Epic Elite, and Evil Beaker was the DM for D&D Night on DDO Stream. I made it for once. I managed not to die too. That's even better.
When did you do that? On Sunday nights?
It's some Sundays.
Okay.
It's not a weekly thing.
Got it.
I am not really entirely sure what the schedule is because I've been being asked like several times, "Hey, come join us! Hey, come join us!" I know Drax's been on it, but they keep asking. Evil Beaker keeps asking me to join, and I keep saying, "No, I'm too busy. I'm too busy. I'm too busy." I managed to carve out just enough time to do it, and then hopped off right at the end to go record DDOcast last week for the news. So still kind of busy and still kind of barely making it in there. Let's Talk Shop just has all the links for all the stuff we already talked about with Update 39. There you go. Let's see, some blogs this week. Drac, do you want to pronounce this one right? This one right here?
No, I'll pass. I'll let you go ahead and do that. Thanks.
You're welcome. Full Moon Fury.
And if you listen to last week's DDO Players News, you'll know why he's laughing at me.
I've done it too, at least more than once.
I do
things
it every
I
time.
wished I learned part 2. So last time he had this article about things he wished he learned, and he kind of gave people kind of some information about things you should know. And this week he took all those things and it kind of explained why how he failed at knowing them. So there you go. Let's see, Mickey's Delirium had raids week 79. And then you had a blog. We kind of already talked about this a little bit. Do you want to kind of go into further details about the hiatus?
Sure, yeah, I can. The site and the podcast, other than this episode, which, I didn't really know was going to happen, but it happened, is on a little temporary hiatus because, yes, you said we did talk about at the beginning of the show a little bit. I am in the process of moving, so I will be without internet for probably a little while. I don't know how fast I'm going to get my service switched over. Luckily, I can still use my same provider, so I can just switch it over, so it shouldn't take them very long. And the place I'm moving to is already wired and all of that, so everything is good with that. I'm just in the process of packing everything and moving and boxes, and I'm over it. And I'll be glad when I'm done moving. So yeah, I expect the hiatus to be at least maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks maybe. And then we should be back to normal just in time for Gen Con probably.
Yeah. We'll also kind of give you a little bridge in there. It's just something that I knew these guys were on hiatus and said, hey, come. It's been a while since Track's been on the show. Get him on the show and hey, just make it a co-production. And you can do none of the work and get all of the benefits.
I like it.
Yeah. Let's see. Some news on DDOcast side. DDOcast Splat may not play for a couple weeks just because of stuff I got going on my own side of things, which we'll talk about here in a minute probably anyways.
So we're not playing this week?
That's a distinct probability. Okay. I need to double check a few things and try to let people know. Right. So let's do a tradition that's a DDO Players news tradition, which is our week in gaming. What have we been doing? So we'll just kind of go around the table here. Arcot, do you want to kick us off?
Well, let's see. I play a bi-weekly Pathfinder game with with some friends back east in Delaware, and I play a weekly version with another group of friends from back in Delaware. That's where I used to live, and after I moved to Wyoming, I still keep in touch with those guys, and I still play. So that's my online gaming thing besides DDO.
Drac, did you get any gaming in, or are you playing Tetris with the boxes?
Exactly. That is what I was. That's exactly what I was going to say. You read my mind. Yeah. No, I haven't done anything this week at all, other than pack and move boxes around.
Yeah, I've been playing a little bit of DDO, a little bit of 7 Days to Die with our group there. Well, big reason why I've been a little really busy the last couple of weeks is it's tournament time. So we just started tournaments, and that's why DDO made it happen this week because I'll be doing umpire stuff all week for tournaments. We've got games every night, and they asked me to take a little bit more responsibility about kind of organizing umpires for the district tournaments this year and stuff like that. So still be playing a little bit, but DDO might be a little sparse for me this week, and that's part of the reason why Kasplat might need to take a couple-week hiatus. I also have work and stuff like that, so all the adulty stuff, right?
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, although I really enjoy umpiring and giving the kids a generally positive experience on the field and everything. And the kids have been playing hard all year. They deserve to have umpires for their big tournament games. So
sure.
All right, we're gonna close out the show here. Both shows at once. We're good at that. Drac, is there anything else you want to kind of mention for players' news or anything we missed kind of that you want to throw in here?
You can just visit us over at DDOplayers.com. And once again, if you're not familiar with the show, I think most people would be by now, we're a little different. The first half of our show is focused on DDO, and then the second half of the show is role-playing games, tabletop games, and the site is like that as well. So we're kind of a hybrid site. We started out fully DDO, and then I kind of made it into this weird conglomeration that it is. But somehow it works, and people seem to love it. And as I kind of hinted at before, I'm going to be covering Gen Con for the site. So Gen Con is coming up the first week of August. So you're going to be seeing a lot of Gen Con news and Gen Con interviews and videos and stuff like that after I get back.
Have fun.
Yeah, definitely.
A good experience.
That's in Indianapolis, correct?
Correct, yes.
All of it. It overtakes the town. So
yeah, it does. It does. Yep, Indy becomes Gen Con for those 4 days.
You guys are actually talking on your last show or show before about like size of conventions and stuff. There's actually very, very few cities that can actually handle large conventions. Like once you get over like 40,000 people, a lot of cities break down in what they can do. And it has to do with convention space. It has to do with hotel space, and in some cases, public transportation or lack thereof is a big problem.
And that's kind of what's happening with in Indy and Gen Con. Indy is getting a little too small because Gen Con is getting bigger and bigger every year.
How many people? What's the attendance generally? Do they announce the numbers?
Yes, they do, and I'm trying to think. If you give me 1 second, I can tell you. It's like last year was 79,000.
What?
Yeah.
79,000 for a con?
Yes.
Oh my God.
That's like having a town move in.
Yeah, it's exactly, and that's the problem why they're outgrowing it. It grows every year by about 10,000.
Gonna have to go to Las Vegas.
So
next.
I
don't think there's a lot of towns that can handle that influx. Anyways,
no.
This was. Oh, this has to have been probably 15 years ago. But I heard a statistic that at the time, there was no city west of the Mississippi River that could handle a convention larger than 50,000 people. And there were only 5 total. They're all west of or east of the Mississippi or something like that. Although I was told that, and then I think they said that Dallas might have been one of them or something like that. But conventions are a big thing. They're great if your city can handle them.
Sure.
Because they bring in, that's 80,000 people coming in, needing a hotel, needing food.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So that's a big deal for a city.
Big cash infusion into the local economy.
Yeah. They say Gen Con brings in about 1.2 to 2 million those 4 days for Indy.
I'm surprised it's not higher.
Yeah, I would think it'd be higher than that. Yeah.
So it's and Indy loves Gen Con, but you gotta build some hotels, Indy. I'm telling you.
Yeah, Seattle finally built. We actually now have light rail that connects the airport to downtown.
Oh, nice!
probably our biggest problem of having a large convention. Now we need to deal with the fact that they're actually expanding our convention, but so we need to do that, and we need more hotels too, and stuff like that. So it's a big thing. It's a lot of fun to be at a convention. It's a lot of work though. So, and it can, once you get to, I mean, you're talking about 80,000 people. I mean, now you're talking about locking down public transit. Even if you have it, it's probably going to start breaking down. I'm going to kind of assume as a general rule of thumb that you don't want to drive anywhere near Gen Con if you can avoid it at all costs. Sure. So, and then you have to deal with, it's not just having those places. You have to deal with getting service people in and out.
Yeah.
So, big deal. Big undertaking. In any case, this is enough of that tangent. We're going to close out the show. So thanks for listening to both DDOcast and DDO Players News. We all appreciate you supporting us. That these shows are for you, the fans. If you weren't listening, these shows would not happen. Otherwise, we'd just be talking into the void, which I can do just fine. But I might rather prefer to do it while I'm doing some other things to do it. In any case, thanks to the guests, Arcot for joining us, and to Draculetta and DDO Players News for joining us on DDOcast and allowing us to kind of have a little bit of fun and expand our conversation a little bit. And thanks to all the contributors for DDOcast and DDO Players News. And thanks to Standing Stone Games and Wizards of the Coast for supporting both shows, and to Cyberus for hosting the DDOcast. If you'd like to support DDOcast, you can visit our website, DDOcast.com, or you can support us on Patreon. Drac, how can people support DDO Players News and the Players Alliance?
DDOplayers.com/donate. We also have a Patreon as well.
If you have a DDO-themed webpage, or you Twitch DDO and like to be featured on the DDOcast webpage, email us, DDOcast@gmail.com. You can hit us up at DDOcast.com for show notes, MP3s, calendar, previous shows, and other fun stuff. Again, DDOplayers.com for DDO Players News. If you want to be a part of either show, if you have a comment on this episode, or question you'd like to hear us answer, or topic you'd like to hear us discuss, or you just want to say hi, you can leave a comment. You can email us, DDOcast@gmail.com. Is it DDOplayersnews@gmail.com?
Podcast@DDOplayers.com.
Podcast@DDOplayers. Okay. So there you go. There's that email if you want to get a hold of Drac and DDO Players News. You can also find us on social media and follow us latest cast updates. I'm at DDOcast on Twitter, or you guys are?
At DDO Players on Twitter.
So we make this really easy for you guys.
Exactly. You can find us very simply.
We try not to make it too hard, right? It doesn't need to be anything crazy.
That's right. It's not rocket science, after all.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be, anyway.
Our closing tip for the week comes from Leopold on Kenneth. Have fun and be gentle. So until next time, may all your attack rolls be crits, all your trust level appropriate. Have fun, and don't forget to gather for buffs.